Yes. So Al, I wanted to ask you. So are you from London? Did you grow
From
up
London, southeast London.
southeast?
I went
What's
to
that? Where's that? Dulwich.
Dulwich. I went to a school called the Charter School,
Okay.
which was a state school, and I was
What-
terrified.
State meaning not
I wanted to go
private.
to Dulwich College.
Dulwich College is
Dulwich College is the private all boys private school.
Right.
And I went. I genuinely did try. I nearly got in, but I didn't get in. But it was the best thing that ever happened to me because people who go there fucking hate it.
The college people
Dulwich
will go.
College, yeah.
They would go to college.
Nigel
And hate
Farage
it.
went there.
Right.
Lawrence, you probably don't know who Lawrence Llewellyn-Bowen is.
No.
They've got
what a name though.
I know.
Llewellyn Bowen.
Lawrence Llewellyn-Bowen. He's probably like one of the lesser obnoxious people. He was in this show called Changing Rooms, which was big in the 90s, where they would like almost someone would leave and a loved one would be like, "Do you guys want to come in and completely change their room or their living room to something that's fucking horrific?" And then they'd come back like a day later, having been tricked into leaving the house, and they'd come back and they'd have to act like they liked it. I'm making a joke. They were hoping that it was, but sometimes it was ghastly.
Right.
What
so
Lawrence would do to the rooms.
Gotcha. So they were kind of sold this idea. We're gonna renovate it, and you'll
Yeah,
love
because
it.
it's cheap.
Right.
It's a day. You can't make
Yeah.
anything good in a day.
Right.
If it involves an entire redecoration.
So they
of
were
a
trying
room.
to be grateful. They were trying to show that
Yeah,
they were
it's like,
grateful
this
for
is
the
fucking. You've just come in and like taken a wall out and then painted it purple based on Lawrence's like
Did
visualization
you
of
think
what.
you had a good read on when someone actually liked it and when they
Yes.
didn't? Yeah.
Even as an 11-year-old, I was
Yeah.
like, they didn't like that. Just from their eyes, they're like, oh my god.
Yeah. You had an eye for acting.
They're
You're
like,
like,
they kind of stand there
yeah.
like that, and they haven't like. It's,
Yeah.
I think it's actually abuse. I think it's
Because they're being filmed while they're doing it, right?
Yeah.
This is you're on TV. for
it's
the
on
first
TV.
time.
Like you can't be like fuck off.
Yeah.
But sometimes it did. I
Yeah.
do think sometimes they did just go like, I'm not sure about this.
Yeah.
But
Maybe they like didn't put those ones in or something.
I'll have to go back and
Yeah.
and you know what? Maybe that's a little study thing I could do.
Yeah.
Is just see on average how because I say I'm confident that I could read their reactions. I need to go
Right.
back and have a proper look.
Okay.
But I think sometimes in their eyes they were like, this is shocking what you've done. So
Yeah.
there was changing rooms, and then there was also garden force or something like that, where they the same concept.
Right.
It was all about in the 90s. It was all about this thing of we can do this on the cheap and really quick, and it just will involve a lot of decking.
Yeah.
Decking, Japanese water feature.
Yeah.
You're living as like a king.
Yeah.
Like decking and a Japanese water feature was like that
Yeah.
was it.
I remember the American. I can't remember what the name was. The Americans. They had where they changed the whole house.
Yeah.
And it was always built with wood. It was like these wooden houses, so they could do it very quickly.
Burns down wood.
Yeah.
Americans love wood.
Yeah.
I have a lot of family in America, and all their houses are made of wood. I'm like, this is
And does it make? I don't know. Does it make it cold? The houses? I don't know. I don't know what the.
I don't know enough
No.
about. I don't know.
Neither.
Do you know what it might be? It might be like a wood exterior and then a brick in. Yeah.
They might have some.
There might be
stuff.
some reinforcement in there.
Insulated. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay, so those are the big. I remember the makeover one. Also, there was an English show about they give
Making over a human as opposed to
Yeah.
They do that one, where
Yeah.
like we had this guy called Gok Gwan, who
Gok
was like
Gwan.
Nate Gok Gwan. Do you know Gok
Yeah.
Gwan?
No.
So this is this bloke who did basically, it was mostly women, and he would like basically women who are like in their basically my age, and he would go into their room and look at their closet, and go like, look at this. It's like basically you've basically given up.
Right.
And the idea is that often they're like single, and
Right.
it's about snazzing up your
Yeah.
it's about
The
snazzing up
wardrobe.
your thing,
Yeah.
showing a bit of tit,
Yeah.
getting back out there and believing
Yeah.
in yourself again.
Right.
So there was
Gok
Gok
Gwan.
Gwan. He did that. It was like, ladies, get your baps, like kind of get your baps out, like kind of that thing.
Nice.
And then there was Trini and Susanna, and they did a similar thing.
That's the one I think I see.
Yeah. They
This
were very
rings a bell.
similar. I'd like
Yeah.
to see. I don't know how. I don't know what they're doing now.
Yeah. What do you think?
I think I was about to say. I think one of them got breast cancer.
Right.
So it's not that funny.
Yeah.
I don't know if she's still alive. I hope she is.
Yeah.
I think it would have stayed with me. If
yeah.
That kind of thing. You know, when like someone. You're like, oh no, that person.
Yeah.
Um.
Okay, so you went to. So was it quite hard to get into the college?
I don't think it was that hard.
Dulwich
I
College.
just think I was really bad at exams.
How old were you when you were trying to get in?
11.
And
I
so,
tried to get
yeah.
into two private. I tried to get into Alain's, which is basically right next to Dulwich College.
Right.
I didn't get in. I actually, on that entrance
Interesting.
exam, I forgot that there was a back page with a whole other bunch of questions. I was like, I'm flying through this. I got to the end. I was like, right, so hand in your sheets, everyone. And they came around. And as the person took it, I was like, oh, there's a whole... I was like, no! I was like, fuck. But I think actually that was like I just was a massive bottle job. I'm a massive bottle job when it comes to exams. I don't have any deadlines, anything like that.
Yeah.
I completely crumble under the pressure.
Right. Were you
Crumble under the pressure?
Yeah.
This hasn't changed.
Were you good at were you good in the lessons? Like, were you reasonable at maths and?
I'm smart.
Yeah.
I'm fine. I was in. I mean, again, it was state school, and like a lot of the kids, by the time they get to 14 or 15, I'm like dealing with other problems. So I was at the top group of a lot of these, and what was funny was the school. Whole ethos of the school was as a catchment area, so you had people from all different types of backgrounds. You know, like they might not, single parent, no parent, living in really difficult circumstances. So that was like, it was idealistic. But by the time you got to GCSE, all of the top groups were basically filled with all the people that I went to primary school with, which was basically other middle-class white kids.
Oh, interesting.
So it was really, really obvious. Like, it's very obvious where basically kids start falling by the wayside.
Right.
Getting involved in whatnot.
Yeah. That's fascinating.
It is quite interesting. It was very, very fascinating.
Yeah.
It was very interesting how, like, even though it's a state school, there's still all this built-in advantages that you can't really overcome simply by going to the same school. Yeah.
Wow. So a middle-class man with a beautiful perspective, with a open.
I have an incredible perspective, and there's a lot of people. I do find this, because you're doing comedy and acting. A lot of private school people, sort of, they're looking at me thinking, so we're like same thing, and I'm looking at them and thinking, I'm terrified of you. Because private school people have this thing where they're really they're built in, they're taught to social climb in a way. They know who to go to, how to rub their shoulders.
That's so true.
Grease their thing.
Yes.
And I'm like, I'm going to that person who looks like a prick.
Yes.
That's a mistake I make.
Yeah. You're so right. Because I've been around,
really
like, I was probably in the... So we'd probably be quite similar, actually, in a sense. In that in South Africa, I'm middle class.
Yeah.
Definitely, we don't call it that, but like middle class. Just say white. Yeah. But but
is that how divided is it?
It's so divided
by
on race. Yeah. Less so nowadays, but still largely. But yeah, I went to not the most expensive schools, basically, and I went to we have like government schools which are free, and then government schools where you pay. Sure. I went to one of those. Yeah. And then there's the private schools, and then the government schools where you pay are usually more diverse. The free schools are often in the poorest areas.
Okay.
Yeah.
More diverse, as in like white people are there, as opposed to like strictly black people, because it's like.
So the poor schools is like mostly is like strictly black, pretty much just black people. Yeah. And then the models they're called Model C schools, government schools that you pay, are kind of a mix. Yeah. And then the most expensive schools are mostly white.
Yeah. I wonder where that
Yeah. So I feel like but I definitely noticed, because I know people who I would be like, oh, those are like the very wealthy people. And I've so seen that, and in my mind, when I see people social climbing, I'm like, look at that person. All they have is just agendas and objectives. Yeah. It's so whatever. But I think it's ingrained. It
is ingrained,
right?
And I don't want to.
It's almost unconscious.
Yeah. I could have gone. It's very. I know I couldn't afford to go into private school. I could have very much. Yeah. I didn't get in. Yeah. And I'm not. And my parents aren't very savvy socially. They're not really about that. So I didn't get taught that. I didn't get that. Couldn't teach. I didn't learn that at school. And so it's actually kind of stupid. I'd much rather have all the trappings of it, and also the know-how and the desire.
Yeah. But you'd probably be a dick.
I would be a dick.
Yeah.
probably, yeah.
And your art would be worse for it.
Yeah. Well, let's hope that's true.
Yeah.
Because if it isn't, then what am I doing?
Yeah.
Like it is. I mean, no, it's a lot of it's a lot of that, and that's also, I think, sometimes people maybe I don't know if this is true, because this is when you start going, you're thinking people are thinking more about you than they actually are, whether they're just thinking about themselves. But it's like, I think sometimes people assume I'm one thing when I'm not that. Because why wouldn't you? You'd be like, that person, that. I don't know.
Yeah, I get it. People
but it's kind of
assumes. Well, I think it takes them a while to notice that I'm South African. It's not always instant.
What do they think your accent is then?
They don't know, like Australian, New Zealand.
Yeah. Interesting.
Yeah.
I never get confused with South African with those two.
Yeah.
I get
obviously
confused with those two
with each other. Yeah. Don't know.
That's poor. If you're getting those one, then I'm like, you need to be more inquisitive about what's going on in the world.
Yeah, I agree.
I actually reserved judgment for those people.
Yeah, but I think sometimes it helps me, because if they knew I was South African immediately, they might have more. I don't know.
Animosity.
I probably not, or just like waiting for me to say some fucked up shit. Sometimes I've got that
Do you feel
sense that people are like, when's this guy?
I think it is very true, and you probably experienced it, which is like, if you're South African in this country, there might be a feeling of like you're already getting a white South African. You're already getting put into a thing of like what attitudes you might have, which is absurd.
Yeah.
Because it's like it's just another country full of people with a whole thing.
With a history.
And I
But I do also get it. Like in meeting you for the first time. Just hearing your accent. All my conceptions of what a posh person is are there.
Built on me.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah. Are there, and then slowly, it's kind of like it is. Sometimes it just is that process of like, as I get to know you, for example, I'm starting to be like, no, well, that doesn't apply. That doesn't,
I don't fit into a box, Louis, and the thing is, I transcend boxes. And
I tried to put you.
I have a very large box, and it is called South East London. And there's a lot of people like me, white, middle class, well off, went to state school, like love the sesh. And all very comfortable, who all either own flats or own houses. And have nice cushy jobs. Although I will say that not that many people I know, I'm close friends, are big earners. They all have like quite like just like modest jobs.
Okay.
It's because you don't need to. If you have the trappings of middle classness, and you always know that you don't necessarily need to work for loads of money to continue the lifestyle you had as a child.
Yes.
Then you can just go on like a cheeky like 35k job, knowing that you don't have to pay off the entire mortgage, if anything at all of it.
And you've kind of got like a quiet like confidence in yourself and like a security in yourself that things will be okay.
Fine. Everything will be fine.
So
the worst thing that happens is you die.
And
that will happen to everyone.
Exactly. You kind of have quite like a wholesome ground, or like really, grounded,
really
view.
Wholesome. Like it's like the biggest threat as a middle class person, where I'm from, it's the biggest threat is yourself. Like just from abusing your body through like thinking that you can like basically live the lifestyle of a 22-year-old well into. Like, I know people who just like it's like still just like caning it, and it's like you're just sort of looking at their skin thinking, man, you need to slow down. Like I don't even have that amazing of like a healthy lifestyle, but there are people who are just on a whole other level. But that's the thing is like I don't know, it does. What am I saying? It's the only that's the only existential threat to people that I know.
Okay, so what's quite interesting to me is that there seem to be posh like quite a lot of posh areas around London. So you like Southeast London, that's one. But I guess that's that's quite broad. So there's it's not within there.
It's not like in it's not like New York where there are. I mean, maybe it is like New York, but it's not like Paris where there are the outskirts are working class. And the closer you get to the middle, the more wealthy you get. Maybe I'm wrong about that, but that's my understanding of Paris. In London, it's much more. It's just like little hamlets of middle class. Slash, upper class slash prosperous, very very prosperous, next to less
Yes.
like that.
Right.
And like
Hamlets.
little hamlets.
Yeah,
little,
Hamlets is a very posh word.
Dulwich is basically it's a suburb.
Yeah.
Which is actually fairly central.
Yeah.
You're not that far away from central London. It
Yeah.
only takes like you can get there within like probably like 40 minutes, which is like if you basically got what feels like you're in the countryside, but you're 40 minutes from the centre of London via bus, like it's quite it's pretty good.
Yeah. That is pretty good.
And you're really close to all these other places like Peckham and Camberwell and Brixton that are also now occupied by middle class white people, because that's what happens.
Okay, so you grew up in Dulwich, and is that where you live? Yeah, that's where you live now. It's your family house.
Yeah.
Yeah. Siblings?
I have 3 sisters, one of whom lives with me, and then I got 2 who live. One of them lives in Walthamstow. One of them lives in America.
Okay.
Because I'm half American, so we have American passport.
Ah, you haven't. Wow.
Yeah, used to be like, you should use that. Now people are like, oh, he's not that enterprising. I don't think he's going to use it. Yeah.
What about you? They say,
yeah. I can feel in their head like they you know, when you're younger, you're like, when you're 20, you're like, you should go and live in America. And now they're like, you should just stay on top of your mental health. Just get that. You know what I mean? Just get that online. Don't worry about that.
Yeah, that's funny.
You know what I mean?
That's funny for like older people to be saying that.
Yeah. They're just like,
like your auntie and uncle.
Expectation. Yeah, they are. Yeah. Now they're like, when am I going to see? They never say that anymore. They're just. I never get anything from my aunties. They all live in America. I never hear anything from them.
Sorry.
Yeah.
It's just as funny for like all like if older generations are like clued in about your mental health, they must think things are really bad. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because they don't know that much about mental health. That's not like a big thing for them.
Yeah. My sister. My sister is. We're actually. My entire family are all in therapy. We're not together, but like individually in therapy. And
same therapist? No, different.
No, you can't do that.
Oh, is that you
I
can't
think
do
it's
that?
like illegal.
Okay.
I don't know if that's illegal. But they actually ask you when you're doing your filling in the therapy form, because we all use the same thing called the British Psychotherapist something Foundation, something. I can't remember. Yeah. This is when I'm dyslexic as well. That's why I didn't get to private school.
Okay.
So they ask you if there is someone in your family or a close friend is also in therapy.
Yeah. What's their name?
Let us know.
Yeah.
And what's their name?
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
So psychotherapy, do you do like dream stuff?
We don't do dream. I don't know if mine is Jungian.
Right.
I don't know what it is. I don't know what she is.
Maybe not.
She's got. I like her.
Yeah. Have you been with her for a long time?
Just a fun way of saying it. No, not that long. Only about 3 months. She's not. My little sister had to quit her therapist because her therapist was basically gaslighting her. So my little sister was like saying like things about like her own experience of being a woman and like what it is to like open up to relationships and like the threat or the danger that you feel as a young woman and these other things. She was like, and the therapist apparently was like, I just don't think it's a problem anymore. And I was like, what are you talking about? It's like, that's very much, I know as a man, it's still very much a problem. And so I think my sister was like, you know what?
Yeah.
I can't do this anymore.
Yeah.
Again, not that funny, but that's...
No, but very interesting. I do think that like therapy, you know...
Do you do it?
I have. I'm not at the moment. I can't afford it, but it's expensive.
My biggest, by a mile, my biggest out.
Yeah. You're outgoing.
Outgoing.
Do you do once a week?
Yeah.
Yeah.
And it's not even that good. It's cheap. It's on the cheap one. It's 40 quid.
Is it face to face?
Yeah. I'm paying. If I'm paying 40 quid, I'm getting face to face.
Yeah.
I don't want to.
40 is not bad actually.
No, it's cheap for therapy.
Yeah.
It's private.
Yeah.
You can do. I did NHS for CBT.
I did that
but
too.
I don't think you can do unless you're like very, very mentally unwell. I don't think you can do free psychotherapy.
Yeah, I think you're right. It's having a therapist. I think is interesting because it can be so positive, but it could be so bad if you're looking at it, like if you don't have other people to talk to, be like, hey, is this crazy what my therapist is saying? You could just be like eternally gaslit by your. Like if that's your only support system, I think they're a bad egg, you know, or they have funny ideas or whatever.
You can't just, if it is it's a classic problem that people encounter, which is they become overly reliant on their therapist.
Yeah.
The other thing a therapist can do is they can either like be quite mean to you and bully you, or they can just like enable you.
Yeah.
And they can be like, well, I think, you're amazing. And I think that, there's got no problem.
Yeah.
I have another sister of mine. She got told she's basically the star pupil of the therapist. I'm like, that's not a good thing for the therapist to be telling you, especially when you're like getting, because we're getting the brunt of it.
Yeah.
Like we're getting you thinking you're the
Yeah. Guys, I was right.
Yeah. You need
about
to
that conflict.
tell your therapist she's wrong.
Yeah.
If you're the star,
Yeah.
then she needs to get some new clients.
Yeah. Also, how do you know your therapist isn't saying that to all her?
Well, exactly.
That's her thing. That's her move.
Yeah, that's her move. Yeah.
Yeah. She goes to
cynical
studies for 7 years or whatever to be a therapist. I'm just going to call them stars.
Just called stars, and then I'll be able to charge them a bit more.
Yeah.
To keep the star treatment, it will now be this much more. Just because you are a star. So, yeah.
So you have three sisters. Where are you in the age?
Second youngest. 2 oldest, 1 youngest.
Okay, and only boy, so...
Only man.
Only man, sorry. sorry.
I'm an only man. No, yeah. I'm a man. No, I'm only boy. I have a lot of women in my family.
Yeah.
Loads.
Yeah,
I've got 5 aunts. My mum had 5 sisters.
Holy moly. And are they mostly in America?
They are all in America.
Is your mom the American one?
She's the American one.
Yeah.
My dad is English. She has a sister. So I have 6 aunts.
Wow.
So I have no biological uncles.
Wow.
Mad, isn't it?
That is kind of mad.
Yeah. That's why that's why I love women so much.
Yeah. That's why you're such a champion.
Yeah. I've always
fair agenda.
Believed in them. I actually believe that when I hear strong women, like I have loads of strong women in my family, we don't need anymore. I'm telling you. They're so annoying.
Yeah.
I have only eccentric men. My idea of men is there's no strong men. It's all eccentric men. There's a man who does. I have an uncle who built his entire. He lives in a forest with my auntie, and he built it completely from wood. And he goes around in lycra in cycling shorts everywhere. I'm like, who is this guy?
Yeah,
he's a nice guy.
A role model.
He's my role model. He's my male role model.
Yeah,
they're just all men with issues.
Yeah,
who need to like be doing things by themselves.
Right.
Who are like,
that's a great way of describing
swatted away.
Yeah,
by the women, swatted away. Go away.
Yeah. Men with issues who need to be doing things by themselves is a great.
Doing things. We would go on beach holidays. I have this uncle called Uncle Don, and he can't stand being sat anywhere for more than 5 minutes. So he spends his whole holiday doing things,
right?
Which is kind of defeats the point,
right?
But like he'll go like kayaking, or he'll make dinner every night. He far prefer to be doing something, basically doing manual labor, than it would be to.
Right. He needs to be useful and
too
occupied.
Too neurotic.
Yeah. I mean, that reminds me of my dad is definitely a doer. He can't. He's very much struggles to.
What do your dad do?
Sit. So he works in the film industry in South Africa.
You just get back there right now, mate.
I know.
Yeah,
I should. But he
said no. There's no jobs for you.
There's no jobs. I can be a carpenter.
There's no jobs for you.
Yeah. He's a construction manager.
Okay, yeah. That's
so
such
I work.
Good job.
Stressful. Very stressful.
Yeah.
It's like being a builder. His team is so big.
Full of woke builders.
It's like woke builders, and then you have set designers and producers being like, we need this well tomorrow, and then you fucking build a well, and then they're like, we don't actually want that to be a well. And they're like, we're shooting today.
Does he run a company that gets hired?
Yeah, so he runs. He's kind of like so he runs. How to describe it? He has a tool company, and he gets he does like costing. He gets hired as a construction manager, and then he's just got guys. He's got like a list of guys who he'll bring in, basically. Yeah. So they. Yeah. And then there's a studio that they always work at, but he's not really like directly.
So a lot of people
involved.
are freelancers.
Yes, exactly. Yeah. So they're all kind of freelancers, and he's got a team, and
is he? Yeah. How old is he?
He is in his 60s.
Is he close to retirement, or is he like, I'll probably do it?
Maybe.
Yeah.
Because my mom's a painter, and she's in the last 5-10 years, she started to actually make money from painting.
So it can happen.
So it can happen.
Okay.
It can happen.
Yeah.
And it's also funny because my dad is very against my lifestyle as a comedian. I'm like, you're both freelancers.
Yeah.
You both are contracted workers. But
I think the problem with like life choices is that unless you're making a shitload of money in London, you might as well just be broke.
Yeah,
because it's like London is only now. London, I wasn't cognizant enough when I was younger, but London now is only for rich people. And I say rich as in you don't have to be earning 100k, but you're on like 50, 60 upwards.
Yeah.
Because it's so expensive to have the kind of life that London is supposedly offering.
Right. Because otherwise there's no, like, the whole point of London is so that you can live the lifestyle of what London offers. And if you can't, then it's like, what the fuck?
Yeah, and London is like, the only thing to do which is affordable in London is and that young people all do is drink.
Yeah.
There's only go to a pub. It's still fucking expensive. But then anything else is just like exorbitant.
Yeah. I'm going to watch a choir tonight. It costs £15. To watch people sing.
Yeah, disgusting.
Yeah, a
they
group
should
of
be
people.
Paying you.
Yeah, I know.
Is it in a church?
Yes.
Oh, nice.
Southwark Cathedral.
Oh, Southwark Cathedral.
Yeah.
That's a nice little cathedral. Yeah. Next, I passed that on my way to therapy, I think. Pretty
nice.
Sure. Yeah. That's an interesting. That's the kind of thing my dad would say. Oh, I've been there. Okay. Doesn't matter. I'm irrelevant. I don't give a shit.
I don't know. I quite liked it. It shows me like where you're going for your.
Yeah. I tried to paint you a picture, then you'll be like, you'll be here. Where is it?
Yeah.
What are you talking? I want to get inside your fucking head, man.
Yeah. Okay. So 3 sisters, lots of aunties. Shitload of aunties.
Weird uncles.
They're
not weird.
Yeah. What do your sisters do?
One of them works for an NGO, so a non-governmental organisation, saving fish. Quasi-corporate, it's like you're doing something that is something which is about sustainability, but there is a sort of corporatization of that thing.
Right.
So you're not working
Someone's
for
making money.
Charity, just a charity. It is a charity. But it does also come with the bureaucratic trappings of something that is the equivalent of like civil service.
Yeah.
So a lot of bullshit, and but she earns pretty decent money.
Lives in is that the sister who lives in London?
In DC.
Who lives
crazy to be talking about. Yeah,
lives in DC.
She lives in DC.
Yeah.
She actually she's been working for the same company for a very long time. She actually worked for the same company in Hong Kong. Okay. So I went to Hong Kong for 1 week once. That was amazing.
Nice. Pretty cool.
If you ever get the chance to go to Hong Kong, I've been to many places in the world, but that was good.
Yeah.
And then my other sister's a doctor.
Okay.
For the NHS, not private.
What kind of doctor?
She is still in what's called like an F1. I don't know if that's the right term, but basically not specialized yet. Okay. So she's a doctor. She's been a doctor for a while. But because she likes to dilly off to Africa, right, and to the Middle East, and to
get working experience, or just on holiday?
To work for organisations that are basically providing a service for people that might not be getting that, if you can imagine. Like she's worked for an organisation called Médecins Sans Frontières, Doctors Without Borders.
Yes.
So she does missions for them.
Right.
So she's been to Afghanistan.
Cool.
It is cool. She actually got asked to go to Gaza, which she agreed to go to. Then the day before, they were like, you know what? It's not safe enough. And it was really funny because as soon as she mentioned to me, she was like, what do you think? I was like, I don't think you should go. Then it was just like, it was only for 6 weeks. I'm like, you know what? I'm trying to calculate what did the IDF are they going to send? You know what I mean? Like you were starting to calculate what's the chances of an IDF rocket accidentally hitting?
Yeah, in 6 weeks. Yeah. How much tonnage are they?
Yeah. Sending? But
she didn't go.
She didn't go, and I think she was like, if they ask me again, I'm not, because it's too stressful building up psychologically to go. Then for them to say no again. Yeah. So
wow.
She said Afghanistan was like I think she'd gone to Benin before. No, she went to Central African Republic. Right. And she said that Afghanistan was like a breeze compared to that, because it's quite stable. Yeah. Afghanistan. Yeah. The Taliban are doing a really good job. Really stable, but really stable. Repressive.
Right. Did she have to cover up and stuff when she was in?
Yeah.
Afghanistan.
So it's really
Did you have any
stable, really
run-ins?
repressive, not great for women, but at the same time,
safer than
well, yeah, Central African
Central
Republic is only
African
very.
Republic.
So it's only just recently come out of a civil war, and probably, let's be honest, probably going into a new one not too far away. So
I think so. Who's Malawi? I think no, not Malawi.
There's
Rwanda just invaded.
There's
DRC or Central.
I think DRC has been
South Africa.
She's been to the DRC as well.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Damn, your sister.
They send them. They don't go like. Do you want to start with Ghana first? No, they send you right to the the intense ones.
Yeah.
They don't give you a nice easy one.
Yeah. Like a build, like how they do
I've
with
been to Ghana.
boxes. You've been to
Yeah,
Ghana.
I've been
That's
to
pretty
Ghana.
cool.
I went to a school. I went to for like I went from my secondary school. It was like me, a bunch of other losers. We all went to Ghana. Like what we call neeks.
Well, how old is that?
We call them neeks, like nerds and geeks. They're called neeks. So all
Wow.
the neekiest.
Did you call yourself neeks while you were there?
No. They were
dangerous
like,
word.
Yeah.
Yeah. We're the neeks. They're like, what?
yeah. I've got an impression of a Ghanaian person. Probably shouldn't do it. So no.
If you ever want to, this is definitely the podcast.
I used to think for a while I could do like, mate, is it alright to do West African? And I was like, nah, it's not really landing that well.
What did it stand for again? Nerds
and geeks.
And geeks.
It's very popular in London, I think. Probably popular. I don't. Yeah. This is a classic thing where a Londoner wonders, is my twang specific?
Yes.
Is my twang? Is the twang that is the Jamaican patois twang slang thing that I
adopted
from some kids?
Yeah.
Who's not like me?
Yeah.
Are they using it in Birmingham or Manchester? I'm like, why do I have any sense of ownership? I should probably not be using these words at all.
Did you ever go through that as a teenager where you think you started something? Like you think you started a word? People saying a word? Like I used to think that when someone does that and then you do like that, you go cabbage. Yeah. I thought I started that in when I was a teenager.
That's rock, paper, scissors, what?
No, someone goes for a fist bump and then you go for a high five. Yeah. And then so you go like that.
And you said cabbage.
And you say cabbage. And then people were saying it and I was like,
that? Is that something you want to claim?
At the time, I was like, wow, this is
you did cabbage, that was me.
Yeah.
You did cabbage as well? Yeah. No, I just want to say.
Because someone did it to me and I was like, what the hell? I didn't know this was going around.
Well, there's another loser. Oh my God, yeah. You're also a weird cabbage guy. Okay, yeah.
I was a neek. That's
very neeky behaviour. That would be immediately classified as meeky behaviour. I didn't come up with a thing, but I did. I did start describing basically everything that was even slightly it's indulgent. I just basically say everything was indulgent. So this isn't what we're doing now is indulgent. Everything.
How old were you when you were
probably 14 or 15. You know when it's not come up with something, but you suddenly have
That's so funny.
It's like an in-joke. That's indulgent, isn't it?
That's such a funny. Yeah. That's a great I feel like that's a great window into British humor.
Yeah.
We never use the first time I heard that word was probably when I was in my mid-20s in South Africa.
Oh, do you know
indulgent?
Indulgent
it's such a good word. It's such you have to a lot of people won't even know what that means. Yeah. You know?
A lot of comedians don't know what it means, and they should know what it means. I'll fucking tell you that. Yeah. So, a couple of shows where you're like, you should familiarise with the word indulgent.
Yeah. So then, but why would you how come you classified yourself and your friends group? What made you guys geeks or nerds? What was the?
No, I wasn't a geek. I wasn't a nerd.
But you went with the neeks.
No. I went with this group who were basically all the A-star students.
Okay.
Because
me
because my mum was like, "You're gonna go."
Right.
I was like, I don't want to go because I'm not. It's like you're going.
Okay.
And so I went. And actually, I say that they're basically all the girls from my friendship group,
right?
And actually some of the guys as well. I don't know why. Basically, it was a very small sixth form. When we got to sixth form, a lot of the people went to other sixth forms because ours was very new, and I think all the parents were like, "We're not gonna." I just stayed there though.
Was it okay? Wait. So when you got to sixth form, you went to the
same school,
the state school,
but a lot of people. Dulwich. No, charter school.
What's it called?
The charter school.
The charter school, which is in Dulwich.
Yeah.
Okay. And sixth form, that is, I always forget.
Yeah. 12 and 13.
Right. So like your last,
we have GCSEs,
last
which is
thing of
the last
school.
thing. The last thing before you become a welder. Yeah. The last thing you do before you go to uni.
Yeah. Okay.
So they're supposed to tell
so
you.
how was Ghana? Like, what did you do in?
We went to like schools. We taught like a science lesson. I got the shits after like the second day.
Yeah.
Because I ate the snail soup thing that they were like sort of putting out. Like, try this Ghanaian delicacy. I was like, well, I have to try it. I'm in the country.
Yeah.
And it was a terrible idea.
Yeah.
I got
snails.
And it isn't like they were obviously clean and fine, but it's like my body's never had that.
Yeah.
Before.
That's
so
what
it is. What's this?
Yeah.
No, it was amazing. Yeah, it was actually like sort of very. It's like when celebrities go to the like it's amazing like what these people do and how they their way of life is incredible. Like it feels fucking cringe even. Describing it because it's a quite a prosperous country, Ghana, relatively compared to other.
Yeah.
It's politically stable, fairly prosperous. Corruption levels are like not that high, I don't think.
Only like 30.
Yeah, I mean,
percent. Yeah.
So it's a very. You're getting a pretty. Yeah, it's
Africa Light.
It's Africa Light.
Well, South Africa is Africa Light. That's probably. If you ever go to South Africa, then you'll.
I've never been to South Africa. No. Where would you recommend I go to South Africa?
Cape Town.
Yeah. So is that the best? Is that good for a party? I'm too old now, but.
Yeah. Oh, it's great for a party. It's great for a party. Good this time of year up until like mid-March, even start of April. The weather's still pretty good. Oh, it's just amazing.
Hot in the summer.
Very hot, kind of dry hot.
Yeah.
Mostly. Well, it depends where you go, but Cape Town, dry, hot. Oh, no, it's honestly so good because it's not like not that isn't cool, but you won't. The culture is quite. There's a lot of influence from like British culture, so you won't feel too out of place. Yeah, exactly.
Should be there tomorrow.
Won't be like fucking Hong Kong.
Yeah,
Hong Kong is pretty British.
Very influenced by British culture.
Yeah.
For obvious reasons,
but it's quite it'll feel different enough that you're like, wow, this is a new place, but also a lot of things work kind of for the same way, so it's easy, and then it's cheaper, and if you go in summer, it's just so beautiful, and you can do everything. You can do stand up there. You can.
Yeah, what's the stand up scene in South Africa compared to like not just the like good or bad, but like what's?
I would say. There's less comedians for sure. Like in Cape Town. Cape Town's like a pretty big city.
London is like
it's insane.
Every other person's a fucking comedian. Yeah.
Cape Town's like I think it's like almost 5 million people. So it's probably like it would be a big city in Europe. We have big cities too.
Yeah. 8 million. London's 8 million. 8 million in London. So not that far.
And everyone always turns up to the gigs. There's always like there'll be like 10 or more comedians who aren't performing will show up at the gigs and just hang out. So it's quite nice because there's a scene and everyone's kind of friends with everyone. It's nice. I really like that
compared
aspect.
To the utterly fragmented nature of the London stand-up scene, which is like all these little pockets of different things.
And you kind of it's impossible to get booked on one night if you're not in with that group. That kind of thing.
Yeah, it's really. I found that you do end up sort of gravitating towards ultimately like I'm a white man in my 30s who's not particularly relatively sociable, but not particularly like not cool.
Yeah, and
so my gravity pull is not that it's quite small. So it's like but also it's frustrating at times because I don't know if you found this, but like wanting to find you want to find your tribe, but you want that tribe also to have like connections. Like, if my tribe is just East Dulwich Tavern, then I'm a bit fucked.
That I know the feeling, and it's I feel like this is another skill in comedy is like because it's almost like I mean I think this is gonna sound fucked up or indulge. This is
indulgent.
I struggle to be friends with people in comedy who I don't respect.
Yeah.
Because I'm like, I just can't take them seriously, and then I'm like, I don't want to hang out. I don't want to feel that whole time like I'm like
faking it,
or feeling like I'm, trying to teach someone something.
And that's probably true of most people, in that we all have our subjective taste in the people we like and why we like them, and I think that's why. I mean, sometimes I go like, I don't know what bill I'd be on, which would be described as cool, like where I would be on that bill, and that makes me like worried. Like, I mean, like who would I share a bill with who's cool now and big? And I'd be
so wait, what do you mean by cool? Do you mean cool in the sense that they are blowing up on?
No, like cool as in like Soho Theatre cool. Do you know what I mean?
Oh yeah. I wouldn't be on any of those bills. Yeah, I know that. I think, I also don't think you would.
I know,
there was
that's
a stage where I was like, where I think those cool people were like warming to you, but then you're too real. You're too real. No, but you're too not willing to play that game.
Yeah.
Because it is a game. I don't know. I think it's
if you could tell me those people after.
Yeah. We can say them now and then.
Yeah. No, I think
I'll cut it out.
I think that is a thing. Like, obviously, me and another comedian were talking about it. Like, where would we see ourselves? It's the same. Probably the same. Me and you, it's probably the same thing. Soho Theatre, Angel.
Yes.
Bill Murray.
Yeah.
Basically, somewhere like clubs, or
yes,
comedy / theatrical scene where it's like, it's people with good taste in comedy.
I kind of think I view them as cool because they won't let me in. And that's just that's often how I think, oh, those are cool.
Yeah.
Whoever's not, because I think I'm not cool.
I thought I was cool. I thought I'll be like, when I start saying some stuff about this, and I have found, I think that it, do you know what it is? It's just like, the coolness comes with so many things that are outside of your control. I don't know.
It's always like outside looking in. I feel like if someone says they're cool, then like, are they really cool? No, yeah.
No one should do that. And there are people that try to be cool, that have the things that would make you cool, but then somehow they're not still cool.
Yeah.
Sometimes there are people who are considered cool. I'm like, that person ain't cool. That person's so boring.
Yeah.
And like, being interesting was like, for me, is like it's how like I hold that up higher than other people. I think. Like,
but I think
it's like,
sorry.
Well, I just think like, if you that to me is cool. If you're at least trying to be interesting.
Yes. But I think what will happen is, if you it's a funny thing to be talking about. That's one thing that's going through my head, is like, we're such nerds to even be talking about being cool.
Yeah.
But I do think it's something that is up to other people, and that hopefully you work on it. You work on whatever you think is the, like, being interesting and having a very cool, a unique voice and the style of comedy that you want to do and all that. And then at some point, somewhere, someone is looking at us, and probably now, even now, because sometimes you meet someone who's like, "Wow, it's so cool that you do stand up," which we're like, "Oh, shut up, it's not."
Yeah, to people who don't do it, it's like, it's immediately like, that's so cool.
Yeah, exactly. And they really think that, even though they're fucking idiots.
Yeah,
but
really, you should see what it looks like most of the time. It's really sad.
But at some stage, someone will look at it. Like, I look at pictures of Norm and I'm like, damn, that's a cool guy. I doubt he ever there was probably a long time where he probably didn't think he was that cool.
I think it only takes that one person who has clout.
Yeah.
To see you and go like, oh yeah. This person's got something.
Yes. And clout can be like that might just be like influence amongst their friends, or like and that slowly connections. Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, every single comedy club is basically, is crossover in terms of comedians who do more than one, but there is a lot of just clique, which makes sense. Once you're in, once I was into one of them, I want one another person. I'll be like, sorry, no, I've got this stage time in front of this really good audience every time. Like, I get it, but it makes it hard. And I do think sometimes you have to take the harder route of going, I need to like create a community of comedians that I like and that I enjoy sharing a stage with. And we create platforms for one another, and create that community that you're talking about, like that, isn't it? In South Africa,
yeah.
You know, and it can feel localized,
yeah.
Because at the end of the day, it's like, I mean, there are cool comedians I can think of who I like, who I'm not friends with, but I go, yeah, they're probably like, they probably did what I'm talking about, and they're having some success now.
Yeah, I think so. I think it does happen because the thing that you create, the community that you create, becomes its own thing. Like, there's a couple of things like, there's that like British economist who's like kind of working class and he's big at the moment.
That guy.
Yeah.
The thing is, like, you know, it's like,
yeah.
investment banks, they don't really have our best interest at heart. Like, I'm like, why is this like? Everyone's like, it's amazing. It's like, I actually had a new joke.
He's got like a
this.
beanie on and all this shit.
We love having this magical individual person who tells us something that we already knew.
That we all knew, and we like.
But it has to be this
working class.
Yeah, he's working. You wouldn't expect him with his shaved head and a hoodie
to be smart.
And then he's saying like how he's basically really rich. Yeah, I'm like this. But also, we learned this. I'm so annoyed because we learned this lesson about the financial crisis. We had the financial crash.
We've had this. Yeah. We've literally had the same. We just get the same lessons.
It's mad, isn't it?
It is mad.
Same thing with Greta Thunberg, who's basically telling us like climate change. Like, yeah, she's really got a point. She's like, we knew this already.
Yeah, but it's like
annoyed at a
16-year-old
girl.
Yeah, like an autistic girl. It needs a new vessel, a new vessel for it to come through for us. Be like, oh yeah, fuck.
So, that person's like, we really have to do this. It has to be through celebrity. It has to be a celebrity. We have to make a celebrity out of a serious issue.
Yeah, 100%. You remember Al Gore? Like he had his thing.
Well,
that was when I first got introduced to.
Yeah.
Because he didn't become president. He's like, I gotta shift my focus.
And obviously what worked for him was that he was someone who was so boring in terms of his thing. Yeah. But was doing something fairly radical at the time.
Yeah.
And so it was a nice juxtaposition because again, you go back to that same thing, is you don't expect this person to be talking about this in such depth.
I think we've almost found the way that we can like help society is like, you've got to find someone who's like very juxtaposition to the issue.
100%.
And then we'll listen. Otherwise, we're like, this is boring. We've heard the climate change.
We don't want to hear it from. We don't want to hear because he's not even saying. The thing about him is like, it's great that he's got a platform and he's using it, but he's not saying anything that's radical. No. He's saying something that someone who works for the Bank of England would tell you tomorgoing.
Yeah.
There's probably and they would happily say, the investment banks are completely corrupt and they don't have our best interests in heart. And we're going to go into it. We're heading into another recession because we haven't regulated them. Yeah, he's not, but because it's him. Yeah, and it seems slightly countercultural and working class, like you say. Yeah, and he puts his leg up like that onto the seat like that. It's like sit up properly, mate. You're in a fucking studio. Show a bit of respect.
Also, I think the reason why I didn't like, because lots of people like Greta Thunberg, they're like that help them with the climate change. Yeah, but I think I grew up around a lot of autistic white girls. Yeah, doing that same spiel. I was like, for fuck's sake, I've heard
what they usually talk about. Be surprised if we weren't talking about this.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
But honestly, and I think this is true.
It didn't.
I needed something else. I needed like a guy with one eye missing.
Everyone's actually so brave for like basically dealing with all of this immense pressure and criticism and backlash. I'm like, but she's autistic, so isn't one of the things she can't read social. So actually, it'd be braver if someone who wasn't autistic who did it, because they would feel that more. You know what I mean? You know what I mean about that? She can't even feel it. It's water for a duck's back for her.
It's actually really easy for her.
Yeah, what we should be saying, we're talking about magical, get autistic people to talk about these issues. Let them take the heat.
Take the heat. They don't even care. Yeah. How are you dealing with it?
Yeah. Fine. Yeah. I didn't like people anyway to begin with.
Yeah.
And I did. Yeah.
I've just been playing Age of
massively
Empires.
Generalized. Autistic. Like red flag has been like popping up massively as soon as I still don't really know what that is also.
But so going back to that guy, whatever his name is,
Gary Stevenson.
That
fucking. Have you seen that? Yeah, poster.
Stevenson.
Is that there? He's like
something.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a bit much. It is a
It's
bit
good.
much. It sells. It's yeah, but I'm starting. Really, he's got to a level of success where I'm like, shut up, man. Yeah. But
Try open mic.
I'm so like no, I'm just my brain's like. I'm so like those cultures where like if someone grows too high, then they chop them down.
Yeah.
I've got that built into my mindset.
Yeah.
I totally do. I've noticed. Yeah.
What in terms of yourself?
No, in terms of other people. I'm like, okay, Gary, you
keep going, mate.
Yeah.
No, keep going a little further.
Yeah.
Don't worry, there's nothing up there. Yeah, you'll be fine.
Yeah. But one of the things he did say was like, he was like, how do you make money? I watched 30 seconds. How do you make money with people? That's what he said.
Yeah.
Do it with people. And I was just like, for some reason, because I think I like sussed out his vibe. I was like, and it spoke to me. I was like, it's about building communities. That's what I took from it.
Right. You were extrapolating out to your own life.
To my own life and taking my own meaning and everything.
Yeah.
And we were going back to like the thing of like you want your friends to be the successful ones. Yeah. But my thought is that if you build something, and it also goes back to a lot of so many through lines, a lot of stuff we've been talking about, where it's like you, instead of going towards the audience, you bring them to you.
Yeah.
It's like you create something good enough, and that with and it has its own flavor because of who you are and because of who your friends are.
Yeah.
People will start coming. And I wanted to say, you doing your and Mark's nights, honestly, some of my favorite nights in London.
Yeah, we you know what, we there's a way that we could probably be more ambitious with, like, how do we get that but on a larger scale, or what are those, because there are people we like those people, but we also want people who, audiences, I mean, where they already know comedy, but we do get that. We do get people.
Yeah.
Well, I don't know. Remember that guy?
Yeah, I'm not sure. I think you've got something special, even though it's not that close to transport. I really think there's something special about the Spit and Sawdust.
Close to my transport.
Yeah. Spit and Sawdust. I think there's something. That room is just. I haven't done EDT in a while,
Well, do you know what? So we're going back in there on this Thursday, and because they've been refurbing the pub. So we'll find they've been quite on us coming back, and they're like, we want to put more energy into the comedy night. But I do know, because my sister went to their new opening, that they've changed the upstairs, because you've been to the upstairs.
Yeah.
They basically turned it into like a permanent place where people can go up and have a drink now.
Okay.
So, good in one way. Will we be able to move sofas around? Basically, is what I'm worried about. Because we need to be able to create a space. I don't want to be doing stand up while some cunt's like having a catch up.
Yeah, no,
it's not there.
No. That's the worst.
So I'm worried now.
Yeah,
but we'll find out if it still.
Okay, is it coming up soon? You got
Thursday.
Yeah.
What I did notice is that the clientele from going on the bar, the clientele's already jumped up by like 15 years for the people who are on the outside, which is fine, not
right.
being ageist, but because they've gentrified it from already a fairly gentrified pub,
right, to
even they went up another level.
Yeah,
I mean,
you
always, that's good. Interesting thing about gentrification. It's funny where you go like, oh, this is my level, and then they gentrify. I go, oh, no, I'm out. That one.
That is funny.
Yeah,
it's like, because there's a certain level of gentrification that you could like.
Yeah, because by its very nature, it will just keep on going up. And up and up.
That's the nature of gentrification.
So you hit that one level, that sweet spot, and you just hope it stays there. You know,
and
you've ruined somebody else, but you're cruising at that point.
Yeah. You're like, this suits me.
This is great.
Yeah, I like this level.
It's like this is a good level.
Yeah,
and you say it, and you're like, oh god, this is such a cool, because you still got that thing, but like you've got this thing which and you go, this isn't this great, and I say it's great for me.
Yeah.
Probably the punters who used to go to this pub are like, I fucking hate it now.
Yeah,
it's full of posh.
That's
cunts.
not as important, but I don't
know. Yeah. It's like they'll go back.
And then it goes to the next level, and you're like, fuck, I thought I liked gentrification.
Yeah. Now I don't like it now.
Yeah,
it's bad now.
Yeah, gentrification is
it's
bad.
awful what they've done to the area, isn't it?
Yeah.
It's like you just
go to the people, the lower
what's
people.
What's interesting is, like, with gentrification, is there a certain level where basically people who are artistically inclined, who have some belief in the idea of culture being protected and integrated into what's happening, they become sort of stalwarts and defenders of that level of gentrification.
Right.
And so they actually have the cultural capital then to defend that space.
Right.
So they'll start doing like they'll crowdfunders and
Yeah.
making people aware of what the and people respond. I say people, other middle class white people respond who also have clout. So they're more able to resist it.
Yes,
gentrification.
Right. So like it takes a certain level of gentrification to be able to resist further levels. Is that kind of what you're saying?
I think so. This is when I'm now out of my depth. I will.
I don't know. Bro, honestly, you talk about gentrification, I was like, this guy's in his element. He's just
I don't know anything about it. I really only know. I don't know it on a technical level, but I feel it. I felt it.
Yes.
And it's always very funny to me how something that has been gentrified, how then those people then defend that level. Like we have a football club called Dulwich Hamlet Football Club, which is
my manager goes and watches. He's a big fan. He's like a season ticket holder.
And it's wildly gentrified, but to the level that I like.
Yeah.
It's people in there not watching the match, having a lovely, like delicious, locally brewed ale.
That's also a funny, because that is such an indication of gentrification, like whether they're watching the match or not.
They're not watching it. They're talking about the Zone of Interest soundtrack. That's all they're talking about. You wouldn't believe how many times I've heard people talk about the Zone of Interest.
If they're watching the football, it hasn't been gentrified yet.
It's not. They haven't.
If they're actually interested in the game.
If they
still got ways to go.
There's a few like hardcore players. They call like we have the hardcores, and you go like, so they're the hardcores, and they're just people watching the match. That's what they call like the ultras.
The hardcores.
The hardcores are just people who are watching it.
That's pretty funny. They're not like they don't get in fights.
There's no abuse.
They just know what happens.
You can't yell abuse at the players there.
That's so.
People start looking around. They're like, "What's this person doing?" It's really like it's not on. It's not on.
That's so funny.
The ethos of the club is very like pro diversity, anti-discrimination.
Right.
So like you're really working suddenly in terms of abuse.
Yeah.
The stuff that you're working with is very, very limited then, because you can't be talking about someone's appearance.
Yeah.
The things you have to be like, not playing well, mate. What's that about?
And people are still like,
hey,
you don't have to say it.
Yeah. Like there's nothing about like useless. You can't say useless cunt.
Yeah.
And you couldn't say fat cunt.
Yeah.
So if you didn't fat useless cunt, you wouldn't be able to.
Yeah. Have you ever had like the inclination and then like stopped yourself?
No, I'm not an abuse. I really think that's where I don't understand where I am. I actually just do prefer going to a cricket match. Like I know less about cricket, but I feel more like that's my tribe when I go to it. Well, this is lovely, isn't it? They trust us enough that we're having pints in the stands, which you can't do at a football game. That is
so.
And you're like, I when I'm talking about cricket, it sounds like I know more than when I'm talking about football, and I'm actually saying something that is genuinely insightful.
Yeah.
Because it's coming out of my accent.
Oh man, I could so see you at a cricket game.
Oh, cricket, I love. England.
So cool.
You go. Ashes. If you go to Ashes, it's like there's nothing beats it.
Yeah.
You're just getting so pissed.
Yeah.
And no one cares.
No one cares.
It's like all the security
Everyone's
like
pissed.
looking over is like.
Yeah.
He's not like he's going to start a fight.
Yeah. That is so true about cricket.
Yeah.
That is interesting. Why do you think that? Because rugby is the same, where it's very rare for there to be fights in the stands.
Yeah.
And I think that's partly because you're witnessing all the aggression, like all the like they are really. You can really like live through the athletes, and so much of the brutality is happening right there.
Yeah.
So like you don't need.
I would like to imagine that's true, but I just watched too many videos of NFL fans fighting in the stands to know.
Yeah,
I think it's
fair.
more like more of a the type of it's not tribe. The part I think with rugby fandom, it's not tribe. Really, the thing that it separates football from these other sports is the tribalistic nature of it.
Yeah,
it's built into the idea that you go there with a slightly antagonistic thing.
Yeah,
that's part of the culture. I don't feel like that's part of the culture with rugby as much.
No, I don't. Definitely not. But yeah, what's interesting in South Africa is the fans in football.
Yeah,
are intermixed. They all sit together.
Yeah.
So there isn't, and I mean, in South Africa, I think the case might, because it's rare. Whereas in Brazil, and it's separated. Most.
Yeah.
I think in South Africa it's because football is predominantly a black sport, and rugby is kind of white. And then so if you got a football fan, and you're going to a game and it's mostly other black people, like the white people are kind of, that's who you hate.
They're
you hate
the opposition.
You hate
Just
the
the
white
one
people.
white guy is like, I
it's like
support the same team as you guys. I don't know what you're talking about.
But it's like, you're not going to fight with, especially during apartheid and stuff. Like, why would you be fighting each other when there's like common enemy?
Well, the thing is also, of course, with football fandom in this country is like a lot of it is steeped in white working class idea of like, this is the place you go to exercise your demons.
Right. That's interesting.
And it's your right as a white working class guy to be coming to this thing.
Yeah.
Yell at the players, yell abuse
That's
at
fascinating.
them, shout expletives, be a generally obnoxious. And I say this knowing that even the large majority of football fans are very well behaved.
Yeah, for
but
sure.
there is still that, because in the 60s, 70s, and particularly the 80s, I mean, it was insane.
Yeah. That's
from the
fascinating.
documentaries I've watched.
So where do you think? You went around.
Can't imagine I would have been there even if it was happening today.
Right.
Like, oh, it's scary.
Yeah. I mean, same. Where do you think the rugby community exercises their demons? Is it like in colonies?
They exercise it through, typically through, just financial corruption and investment banks where they're all working at.
Doing sleazy deals. Underhand.
Interesting, yeah. Where's their outlet? They just don't have as much to be angry about.
Yeah.
That's
pretty good.
They're pretty happy with things.
Yeah.
There are an incredible number of rugby fans on Lordship Lane, which is the main high street in
Dulwich.
East Dulwich.
Yeah.
And when the Rugby World Cup's on, it's like you've never seen it. I mean, it is just the same man and woman repeated over and over again. Big bloke, blonde lady.
Yeah. Yep.
There's not as much that, and also I think it's, I don't know what it's like in South Africa, but it's a rugby fandom is very. If you're a rugby fan and you're not a fan of other sports,
Yeah.
football you might be a fan of. You might be a fan of cricket.
Yeah.
You might be a fan of boxing.
Well, is there cricket rugby overlap here? Because in South Africa, cricket rugby is that's a
private
huge
school
overlap.
sports.
Yeah.
So they're traditionally private school sports. As much as like they like to say with cricket, it's like, because there is in up north or in other areas of the country, there's probably it's less gatekeeping, but it's still a gatekeeping sport.
Yeah.
It costs money to play cricket.
Yeah.
In a way that is inaccessible compared to soccer.
Yeah. And rugby, you have to have facilities. Like you can't play rugby you can play football on the pavement outside. You can play football in the street. You can't play rugby.
Yeah, I mean, I guess you could play rugby in the park, and people do play it in the park.
True.
I guess it's so dangerous that you do need some people around going like,
yeah,
I don't know.
Yeah, that might be the thing. Like you need your parents not to be working. They have to have a lot of leisure time.
There seems to be that there has to be some more eyes on it.
Yeah.
Because it's just more dangerous.
You need to have like pretty consistent meals, so you have meat on your.
I mean, my mum was like, "You're not playing that," and she probably read it. She was like, "I'm projecting your your puberty development and how your body's. I'm not picturing that for you." I just had no interest in playing it. It's not for me. With my build. And in fact,
you could be in a scrum half.
Look at me. Have you seen? I've got nothing. I basically got completely pushed to one side when it even came to football, because as soon as everyone hit puberty, everyone got too big.
In football?
Yeah, in football. And I wasn't skillful enough to override that.
Right, yeah.
Because the physical aspect comes in even with football massively.
Yeah, for sure.
I played for my team, and I was like the small white kid on the team for the like 6 foot black guys. Yeah. And that was the same for all the other teams. And so they looked at me going, we know where the weak spot is. And even if it isn't a weak spot, we'll verbally abuse it into it. Right. That being the case.
That's funny.
They were like, let's go. That boy, that shit, man. He is shit, bruv. I'm like, I wanted to say I can hear you, but I think that's what the point of it is. They want me to hear it.
Yeah. You're doing comebacks. Like, I know exactly what you're saying.
Yeah. I'd have people come up, like teammates afterwards, like, oh, you need to start going to the gym, man. Like, you need to get those. Like, I'm like, okay, thanks, mate. So I don't even want to be here. I got picked on this team because the manager was my history teacher, and I think he's another scrawny white guy, and he saw he saw himself in me, and so I'm this like some weird object of like I'm of whatever for him, the manager. I shouldn't be. I'm like, it's nepotism, just weird sort of nepotism.
I went to like so my school was kind of a science school. That was our science and a little bit artsy, you know, and it was a co-ed school, and the co-ed schools are never as good as at rugby, just for numbers wise. Don't take it as seriously.
Did girls not play rugby though?
No, not at the time. Not at the time. Yeah. It's growing.
Yeah. But also you wouldn't be. There's not like there's mixed.
There's not mixed. No.
That'd be mad.
Yeah. Although I think I had a dream that just reminded me. I think I dreamt last night that I was playing mixed rugby.
Do you know what? I say it would be mad, but there's nothing that would be more terrifying than playing rugby with girls.
Oh my god.
They'd beat the shit out of me.
A strong girl.
It's embarrassing.
Running at you,
Even though
there's
there's plenty of girls that weigh more than me and would easily like over.
Oh, it's huge.
And they're aggressive as hell. Have you ever played football with girls? They are foul you like nothing you've ever believed. They are dirty that's players.
That's true.
Breathe,
and they don't even acknowledge it as well. No. You'd be like, what the
hell?
They're
like, get him, like, go get her, get him, blah blah blah. Like it's almost like female power, and it's like you do know she's breaking the rules here. It's like you can cheer on like that, but you're cheering on illegality. So have a bit of respect for the game because it goes above any. It's
bigger than all of us.
Yeah, bigger than agenda, lady. Bigger than your agenda.
So our teams were very good, and I remember. It would get on our coach's nerves that we were like an artsy science school because we'd be at practice and we'd be like, sorry, sir, I have to go play practice. I gotta do my lines. And they were like, fuck,
we're gonna lose again.
Yeah, it was so bad.
Did you play other like co-ed science artsy schools?
Yeah, we did. Yeah, they were usually.
What do they call like the Pussy League?
Probably by the all boys schools. It was just, it was like the lower division. Yeah. We played a lot of these schools, but they would put more into it. Like our school, I think, was particularly bad in terms of like I think there was like before I was in. So our last year of high school we called matric, year 12, and the first team, I think they went on like a 3-year losing streak. And then we broke it in my final year. We broke the losing streak.
What were the celebrations like when you broke it?
We were just like ecstatic. It was unreal, and no one at our school cared because we've been losing so much that it's like
they completely
finally
forgotten.
Won.
Yeah. Good.
Yeah.
Try and win again now.
Yeah, exactly.
Try and get a name, some more respect to our fucking name because it's in the gutter. Yeah.
I remember like going on my knees, like celebrating. It was crazy. And it was a away game also, but
Oh, that's why. Because if it was that's
at
so
home,
annoying. If it was at
probably
home,
been a bit better. Yeah. But then we won I think we won like 3 that year.
Wow.
Out of like 10, so we lost 7 and won 3.
That's pretty good.
And the next year they went unbeaten. The team. So it was like because it's like the 17 and 18-year-olds.
So you had the talent from that team. Stay with it, and then maybe just the school was like putting more effort and resources.
I think it was a bit of both.
So we
got better coaches. I think. Yeah, it was because it was a joke.
Yeah,
and it was interesting because like in the lower, like when we were like 13, we 13 like we call it under 13s, under 15s. We would win. We wouldn't lose a game.
Yeah.
So something happened.
Something shifted.
So and I think what it was is we were in a co-ed school and we just didn't give a shit about sport. At a certain point, we realized that like being good at rugby at my school earned you nothing with the girls.
Yeah.
It was better to be like
to sing.
To like be in the band.
Be in the band,
Be in the band.
Yeah.
Get with the band ladies or be good at. For me, I was like into like the being in the plays, school plays. That was my in. Yeah. Water polo was like pretty big.
Really?
Yeah.
More popular than rugby.
Yeah, our teams were better. Yeah, there was more teams.
Interesting. Yeah.
Yeah. But the reason I brought it up is because our school was quite diverse, but it was a fairly wealthy school. Yeah. In like a pretty affluent area. But because of the league that we were in, we would go to like these very, in comparison, very poor schools and play them. And I remember we had guys in our school. I think I probably told this, maybe not on the podcast, but we had guys in our school who like thought they were gangsters.
Okay.
And then I remember going to the school.
Like criminal gangsters.
No, they thought they were tough.
Okay.
They thought they were tough. They thought they were G's, the way they talk. And then I remember being on the bus, arriving at the school, and everything just went. We'd go to these schools and everything would just go quiet. You'd be like, okay, we're in a different league now.
Still think you're a gangster now, mate?
Yeah.
About to change.
Yeah.
I remember those that feeling of we would often not play them in either on this. We'd either play them on the grounds but not attached directly to the school, or we'd have to go to like a public park. But I always remember that feeling the bottom of my pit, my stomach of like I'm so scared right now. I'm so scared about what's to come. It's so terrifying. It was so angst ridden, and we actually weren't in a league because none of the teams could be every match would end in a fight between the two, so there would be no leagues. It was all cups. It was all cups and all knockouts.
Oh, okay.
So
interesting.
There was no leagues. It was just too many inter-school beef.
Right, because if it's leagues, you play each other multiple times, and then like there's a
because basically they're thinking if it's a league and there's beef, then someone will try and shank. Yeah, I mean, like basically that's what's going to happen.
Hectic.
It's mad. It's mad.
That's
it's like
wild,
it's almost like there's this. It was actually fascinating to watch because basically my team was packed full of like the hardest of the hard. But like they're all rude boys. What we call them, rude boys.
Yeah.
Real like quite tough guys.
Yeah.
And it was very funny to watch them sort of identify who it was on the other team that was basically their version of them. Like who were the alphas. And it had so instantaneous. It was almost beautiful to watch. It was like, oh, this is nice that they've identified.
That's interesting. Yeah.
It was like it's like a
What would they do with that? Was that like okay, and they're going to talk shit to that person? Yeah. That's
chat
funny.
shit.
Yeah.
Instant. It's identification. Confrontation.
Yeah.
That's what it's about. You can't. Once you've identified him, you're not gonna not confront. That's your job.
Yeah. Interesting. Who would you identify you said there was always another white guy.
I think it's that guy. I think it's that guy. Yeah.
Yeah. You would tell someone.
No, I was terrified of. I mean, I was on the bottom of in terms of physical stature.
Yeah.
And threat that I was presenting, I was on the bottom of all of it.
Yeah.
If I saw another white guy who was a similar height who looked equally scared, I often I think I looked over and was kind of like, hi, like, just to kind of like crazy, right? We shouldn't be here, but
That's amazing.
But then I was like,
chatting shit, and you like,
yeah. But then I was like, I don't want to limit. I don't want to be like, he's the uncool guy. Like, I don't want to be attaching myself to the other white guy who's 5'7".
Did you? So was there ever an occasion where you chatted shit?
No, not good enough. Not good enough. I would get chatted shit by my own teammates. I once slide tackled a ball back into my box, which turned out to be an assist. And then I got a slow clap from my centre back. He just went. And I was like, that was 5 minutes in.
Oh, man,
I was like, this is brutal.
There's nothing more embarrassing than a cool black guy giving you a slow clap and making direct eye contact while he does it.
Do you know what it was?
There's nothing you can do.
They were not angry with me. They were beyond that. They were like, why is this guy in the team? Why is he in the team? And actually, I think they actually felt sorry for me more than anything.
Really?
Yeah. They didn't. They just wanted me to like. They could see the fear. They can see how out of my depth I was at that level.
That's really nice that they felt sorry for you.
So they were just like and also they've got bigger fish to fry. They were trying to identify who they were going to shank.
You're almost like a kid to them. Like
I was a kid. I was like a child. I was like a child.
That image is so.
And it wasn't
with the head. I imagine the head being slightly tilted.
It wasn't even like they had a good. It wasn't even like, oh, he's shit at football. It's like he's just not cut out for what's happening right now on this pitch. He's just not there.
But the whole because it's not just about being good at football. It's the mental
thing. Yeah, and my mentality was weak.
Yeah,
I have a very weak mentality. I couldn't overcome the physical threat.
Yeah,
by the self-belief required.
Interesting. Yeah, I used to find. So I really wanted to be good at rugby, and I got to a level where I was quite good. and I went to like trials. I went to like
Okay, that's pretty good.
Trials, but they were like, I was good for my school, and then when we went to trials, we're like, oh god,
here comes the art school boy.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
That's
the arts technique. Yeah.
He seems to be singing while he's
yeah,
playing.
Yeah,
yeah.
I'm
humming to himself.
Yeah. What's the pass when you do the? Is that a backward pass? What's that? Just a pass.
Yeah, just pass. Yeah.
I'm trying to think of a song that you would sing. What's the technical term in rugby?
What's the technical term? Offside. That's football. Also, box kick.
I can't think of a song.
Yeah. And then I do a box.
I'm box kick.
yeah. That's it. That's right. That's good. Like a musical theater guy doing rugby. I'm box kicking.
Magic hands.
Guys, magic hands. They're all looking at it. Yeah. That's good. I might have to try and make that into a.
I think it's very funny, the idea of like the artsy, the introspective rugby player.
Yeah.
The one who's sort of like, what are we doing out here?
Yeah.
We're using our bodies for destruction, but it's also a level of. There's also, I mean, I will say with rugby, it's not my favourite sport, but there's always there is a beauty in the
brutality
the group commitment to physical erosion.
Yeah.
So that you're seeing a group of men and women, group of people get basically over the course of a rugby match get physically more battered and taking that journey together and helping to support one another. Yeah. Because you can see, I don't know if this is true, but you obviously they're looking around going, oh, this guy's fucking, he's getting battered.
Yeah.
And so we got to make sure he doesn't get hit this next time, or we're gonna like make sure we hit that other person.
Yeah. We got to get that guy back.
Yeah. So I like that camaraderie in what is such an overtly violent game.
Yeah. And there's a lot of targeting. There's a lot of like
not so beautiful. There's a lot of targeting.
No, but it is. I remember.
What's the most gruesome injury that you've seen on a rugby field?
I think one that was quite hard to see was a guy tried to tackle a guy and got knees to the face. Broken nose, concussed. And just a lot of blood.
Fuck. Yeah.
And so I was like,
that's just ugly.
Yeah. Knee stuff is also, like.
Do you ever see anyone like break a leg or break an arm or?
No, not.
Because it's
like
the scariest thing where if you get into a scrum and a scrum collapses.
Yeah,
but that's
pretty dangerous. Yeah,
you artsy people weren't.
We were not good at scrums. Yeah, we didn't have really anyone. The scrums, the people doing the scrums were just like the worst players, the slowest. We're like, you gotta do scrums.
Yeah, you gotta do scrums. Yeah. You're believe it or not, gonna be doing the dirty work. I don't know if you knew that.
Yeah. You gotta really want to be playing rugby. Yeah. To be scrumming for an artsy school.
Yeah. You're here. Yeah.
But I can't remember what
we've covered a lot of.
We have covered a lot of rugby stuff.
A lot of rugby stuff.
Yeah.
But football was the only sport I played at. I was.
Oh yes, I remembered. Sorry. Yeah. So I really wanted to be good, but it also meant that I put my expectations for how good I was going to be very high.
Yeah.
And if I met with like resilience, like I just wasn't slightly into it that game, I would find a way to like get myself off the pitch.
I want to be really good until if there's any point immediately that I don't, I'm out.
Yeah. If at any point it gets difficult, I'm going to fake a concussion.
Yeah.
And so I may have faked a few.
You want to be naturally amazing at rugby.
Exactly.
And then
that's exactly what it was.
Like, I'm out.
Yeah. That's exactly what it was.
Yeah.
And I wish that, looking back, because I still have dreams about rugby.
Really?
Yeah, I think about it a lot. Like way too much for someone who's, never.
So you really love rugby?
Oh, I like.
You follow all the leagues and then.
Yeah. I watch all the leagues. I watched stuff. I'll watch highlights of the leagues that like the South African teams aren't in.
Is the World Cup the pinnacle for you in terms?
World Cup is the pinnacle. Yeah. World Cup, and South Africa is very good at the moment, which is
noticed.
Unbelievable.
Yeah.
Yeah, I sometimes sometimes I have dreams at night that I'm playing rugby really well, but it's not professional. It's like amateur. That's the extent of my dreams. So
your dreams have a very clear cap.
Yes, a low ceiling.
It's modest dreams.
Yeah. But yeah, I did. There's a few times where I got concussed a few times. Like really, I got concussed, and that was
Oh,
bad.
so you've been concussed?
I've been concussed a few times, and I know there was one of them I noticed. I was like, as in, I noticed a change in myself. I was like, I am definitely stupider than I was a few months ago. I am finding things more difficult.
Wow, that must be quite. I would be so just now that we all know about brain injuries. I'd be like not worried about you now, but I'd be like if I had an injury now, a head injury, I'd be like, oh my god, I'm irrevocably changed.
Yeah, same. I think it gets worse maybe when you, I don't know. But
I'm very protective of my body now, even though I'm not looking after it that well. I'm protective of what I'm abusing. I'm like, let me. If anyone's going to do something to my body, it'll be me.
I think that's what held me back from ever actually going for rugby.
Yeah,
I was the worry of everything, and even that's how I approach like gym and stuff. Is like I'm constantly doing like rehab stuff, even though my joints and stuff are all fine.
You're only rehabbing.
I'm just rehabbing.
I'm
preparing.
gaining.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm never playing. Like I'm always like working on a move, like a side step or something. In rugby, I'm always working my side step. I'm never playing a fucking game.
Rehabbing for years.
Yeah. I remember there was a period a couple of years ago where I'd go to the park and literally work on my side step. I wasn't even playing rugby.
Yeah.
Like for what reason?
Yeah.
I wanted a good side step.
Yeah.
I was playing touch rugby a little bit, but not even often enough to justify how much I was going to the park. And
do you go to the gym though? No, you
dodging
go to
trees.
now?
Yeah, I go to the gym. Yeah. I mostly walk at the gym.
Mostly walk.
Yeah, just on the treadmill.
Just walking around.
Yeah.
Could you not look? Could you stare? You like to stare.
Yeah.
I need to start. I'm not. I need to get into the gym. It wouldn't take much for me to get a six-pack either. I'm not particularly.
Yeah, you seem like you have fast metabolism.
Yeah, but I'm still even that. I'm still like the physique ain't that good. It could be better.
Yeah, you got good posture. I've noticed at the gym.
Now?
Not right now, but generally you have pretty good posture, I think.
Do you think I have good posture on stage? Who's got the worst posture? No, I can't really think of.
I can only think of people who are disabled.
Who's got? Yeah.
Yeah, I'm gonna cut that for
sure.
Yeah,
definitely.
Yeah, I'll just bleep that.
This is the part where he needs to cut. This
is
the time mark this time.
Who's got the worst posture? That's a great question. I'm just thinking of your gig because that's the only gig I can remember recently.
Yeah, that one recently. Yeah. Who else have you had on this podcast?
Simba, all the people I said I run jokes by.
Yeah.
Simba, Ahmed, Callum.
All good guys.
Yeah. Maybe we'll wrap it up. But you do have. Oh yeah, I was to say I've noticed at the gym there's lots of people with bad posture, which is kind of
because
weird.
they're probably not doing it correctly.
I think so.
And they're actually doing more damage.
I think so. I think their muscles in the front part of their body.
Doing nothing correctly.
Yeah, that's great.
If you're not gonna do it correctly, don't do it at all.
Yeah.
And
that's me too.
Yeah. Me too. That's me as well.
Yeah.
That's my motto. Do I? Yeah, I was thinking about that. No, yeah, it covered. It's so funny with comedy because there's so many simultaneous thoughts about it all rumbling around at the same time.
Yeah.
And some become more prominent than others depending on the time, depending on what's going on with the thing. But yeah, I do agree with you. It's mainly about if you're not having fun, then if you're not finding yourself what you're doing fun or enjoyable or exciting, then you already should not stop doing it.
Yeah.
And it's so, but that I think the truth is that a great deal of people are just on autopilot with it. Even good people.
Yeah.
It's like, I don't know. Interesting. Yeah.
That was Al Jarrett, everybody. Leaving you there with some wisdom about comedy.
Just do it. Yeah, do what you like. Keep doing it.